Hello everyone. We are doing the session for class 10 appeared, class 11 and class 12 students. It's going to be primarily answering their questions. So if you want to listen to me and advise your juniors, more than welcome to do so. And if you know somebody with 11 and 12 or something, you can just ask them to join the live session. Particularly, I have a list of questions which my nephew has passed on to me. He wants me to answer questions. He just graduated to class 11 now. So I thought it might as well do a session for everybody. So I'll start answering the questions for class 10, 11 and 12 students. Hear me out. I think you should also be in a position to advise your juniors and all. It's always good to know things. Otherwise, those who are in class 10 to 12, be very attentive towards this, because I've seen a lot of students making quick decisions after passing class 10 boards during 11 and 12 and then regretting after class 12 when the real college admission starts, for example. So there are colleges which will not accept scores which does not have maths. You thinking that, I'm not good at maths and therefore I should not take up mathematics in 11 and 12. Even if you're bad at it, might as well take maths, not count it in your best 4 or best 5 subjects. Learn maths because you need it. Whether you do an MBA, you need CAT exams and CAT has maths, quants. Whether you do a CA or a CFA or an FRM or whatsoever exams you take, mostly maths is going to be there. So it does not make sense to drop maths just because you're not good at it. And secondly, there are a lot of topics which are new in class 11 and 12. For example, trigonometry, calculus, etc. So it is a very good opportunity for you to start statistics as well. So it's a very good time for you to really focus, remove that mental block that I'm not good with maths, index numbers, etc. Calculating inflation numbers and all. If you do not take 11 and 12 maths, you'll not be able to do any of those things later. But it'll be more difficult. You'll have to put in more effort. So it makes sense to take maths in 11 and 12. Even if your scores and boards are bad, just ignore them from the best 4. Because anyways, if you would not have taken maths, you would not be having those worst scores, right? So you take it, don't include it in best 4. In fact, maths is also going to be there in your graduation subjects. If you're taking up economics honors or even BCom, BAF, business accounting finance, BBA, whatsoever you do, maths will also be a subject in your college. So it does not make sense to not take maths that way. Right? So that is one. Second question I have is, okay, so you're done with class 10, you've got class 11 starting off. So in the next 2 months, what can you do? So one is you should start reading books. Read books like Psychology of Money. Start with something as simple as Richest Man in Babylon. Start reading fiction as well if you're not into it. You'll be entertained as well as you'll improve your writing and reading skills. So improve your language skills, very important. Improve your maths if you've not been good with maths till class 10. Focus more, because I remember during my class 11 and 12, I used to be doing accounts and maths throughout the year. And it was only before the exams I would be studying all the other subjects. Make sure that your foundation for accounts is absolutely brilliant. I've seen students studying accounts and all that, but they're not understanding why the 3 golden rules of accounts came from, where it came from, how to apply it, what is the logic behind double entry system. It's very logical. So not being able to apply those concepts again is going to be a problem later on in your life. It makes sense to build your foundation very well. Improve on your maths, build your foundation very well for accounts, improve your writing and reading skills rigorously. If you've not been into reading habits and all, please understand that you may not have been encouraged during your school life to be reading. But in class 11 and 12, make that change. Start reading. Start watching the right shows on the OTT platforms as well. For example, I'd watch a Boston Legal. So I understand a little bit of presence of mind from that. There are wonderful series and all to watch on Netflix, etc. as well. So choose the right stuff. Of course, not binge watching and getting addicted to those. So start changing the kind of content you consume. Even YouTube, for example, consume and take up the right kind of content and use the right things when you're class 11 and 12. And also, if possible, start working a little bit in terms of learning Excel and PowerPoint. Now what happens is, the reason why I'm saying, because I know you will be using more of it in college during your college events and everything. But during class 11 and 12, make sure that your school has a commerce club, a management society, and attended and judged startup events, etc. during class 11 and 12, so that you get out of your inhibitions, so that you start participating, you are improving on your personal skills and soft skills, and all this starts from class 11 and 12. It prepares you to do mock events during 11 and 12 in the fests and all, management fest, business fest and all. I've seen a lot of schools in Kolkata doing it. Colleges, of course, would be having those. So start taking, initiative, leadership roles, become better coordinators, communicators during class 11 and 12 by participating. And if your school in class 11, 12 does not have any of these clubs, then please go ahead and form these clubs in your school. Be the founder of that club. I'm not talking about the regular clubs. I'm talking about the commerce clubs. It's very important for your grooming, and it adds on to your resume and your profile, because when you go to college, what do you show? At that point of time, at the beginning years, it becomes a little difficult, to write more lines on your resume as students have it. So do that. So these are the things in the beginning years that students should be doing. Next question that I have is, Okay, so confusion in terms of choosing your group. I'm assuming that this question is with regards to the subject combinations that you take up in class 11 and 12. If I were to be able to change something that I did during class 11, 12 would be, I think I would have tried to get an extra subject to my curriculum, that is add computers as well. So I remember I had English, Hindi, EVS, maths I had taken, and thank God for it. In fact, I remember doing classes with my science friends together. So my maths was quite good and I used to enjoy doing maths throughout the year. Maths and accounts was something that I did the entire year. I had accounts and economics and a subject called commerce, which was theory. In a nutshell, if you have to drop a subject in order to take up maths, you drop any of the theory subjects, make sure your maths, accounts and economics is there. If I had to drop something out of maths, accounts and economics, I would drop economics because that I would still be able to manage and study and pick up during college. But maths and accounts is something that would be very difficult for me to pick up after class 12. So these two subjects, I'm definitely going to keep it in my group of subjects that I've taken. Next is now the regret I was talking about, or not a regret exactly, but I did not have that kind of mentoring or guidance during my class 11 and 12. But I think I would have taken computers as well. If I could ask for an extra subject, or maybe I would have attended classes as in tuitions for computers with my friends if the school would not have allowed me to take up computers. I think it would have helped because now when people talk about Python, etc., if you have a bit of coding, because I remember I had 9 and 10 Java. So it was very interesting learning those if and for loops and creating those amicable numbers and perfect numbers and everything when I used to do coding. And I remember Shampa ma'am used to teach me and it was brilliant, absolutely. I used to enjoy that. So it gives you kind of a base, a kind of understanding, a kind of learning in terms of, how the coding is done and everything. So I think 11 and 12, I would have taken computers as well. But the first priority is going to be maths, accounts and economics. These 3 subjects you have to have. And I've seen people dropping Hindi or something just because they can drop and reduce the workload. Don't do that. I mean, try to study, try to do as much. And anyways, class 11, 12 for commerce is light. Science is quite heavy. But post class 12, commerce becomes heavy provided you are actually studying and pursuing professional courses. So that's one. Next question I have is, if you're taking commerce, is it better to take maths or entrepreneurship? As I told you that if you have to choose between maths and a theory subject, definitely go for maths because a theory subject you'll be able to pull up. You'll be able to still learn after class 12. You'll be able to manage without having studying that subject in class 11 and 12. But maths and accounts you must take in class 11 and 12. Then economics and then other subjects, and if possible even take computers along with it. Because what is a company, what is marketing, what is commerce, you can learn these things after class 12 during college and all. It will not be so much of an issue. Next question I have is, accounts, economics and business, how is it going to be helpful in the future? It's a very broad question to answer what each subject is broadly. I think I'll take it up in more detail some other time. But in a very broad nutshell, economics is about demand supply, what people are buying, why people are buying, how companies are producing what they're producing. That's microeconomics, what people prefer to buy today. There could be international economics, foreign currency, exchange rates, international trade, export, import. There would be macroeconomics, government policies, GDP of the country, what is the production in the country, taxation, understanding the deficits. So, the government's accounting basically broadly, and how those policies are impacting us and the economy at large, interest rates, inflation levels, etc. So all these factors are economics. Commerce would be broadly to understand what is marketing, production, etc., different business functions. It could be understanding partnership, proprietorship, company format, different formats of business. It could be understanding different roles, leadership, management, etc. in the business. Factors of production, men, material, money. So that is all going to be commerce, relatively more theoretical on that side. With respect to accountancy is basically how do you record all the transactions. So whether it's an inflow of money in the business, outflow of money from the business, purchases, sales, inventory, stock, salary being paid, rent being paid, wages being paid, profit being made, what is your asset, what does the company own, what does the company owe in terms of liabilities and everything. So everything with regards to transactions. And the second next level is going to be to analyze, understand those accounts, manage those accounts, interpret those accounts, take business decisions based on those accounts. That comes in a little later. Next question I have is, what not to do during the first few months of 11th grade? I think you can enjoy a bit, of course. Your class 10 boards are over. You should enjoy for a while, but then make sure that you're enjoying. The problem that happens is when you are sitting at home, let's say, not enjoying yourself, getting bored, getting irritated, and not reading a book. Start reading fiction, start reading Harry Potter if you haven't, Dan Brown if you haven't. Start getting into fiction reading at least so that your reading speed improves, etc. And you enjoy those. Start watching the right content. Start learning, start following the news, etc. I mean, I remember the least I would do is read that one page of business page. I used to get Times of India at my home. I know it's very biased newspaper and everything, but still I would read that one page of that business page. I would read all the headings for sure. I would read few articles which I would like. Start getting in the habit of reading. We post a piece on the news front across different sectors and all on Leverage Grow Daily. It's on Instagram, so you can follow that, or the monthly blog that my research desk publishes every month. So you can do that. Start reading articles. Start reading books like, Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish by Rashmi Bansal, or Rokada. There was a book, I don't remember the author's name. So, these are like 20-page stories on stocks and all, on different business or startups and all. Start reading these things. Start getting interested, in all these aspects. So in the first few months, you can enjoy yourself. Just make sure that you're not losing out on your base for economics, accounts, particularly accounts and maths. A lot of new subjects, as in new topics, are going to be in your maths part. So have a good fresh start for those who had a problem with maths. Don't skip maths. Even if, say, for example, you did not choose maths in the first 2-3 months, please go to your principal, etc., and push for it that, I will perform, etc., and please allow me to take up maths. Because what happens is the schools also, if the student is not done well, they do not want to spoil their school's result. They want to publish their own results after class 12 that, so many students, not a single failure in any subject, etc. But for your career and your future is very important. Even if your school does not allow you to take maths, please make sure that you start attending the tuitions with your friends for maths classes. Make sure you do that. Trust me, you'll thank me after class 12 is over. Next question is what to read during these holidays. As I told you, Richest Man in Babylon. You can start with Rashmi Bansal, Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish. You can read Rokada. There's a book called Business Maharajas. I remember there was some holiday in Siliguri. I was there and I got this book in that library, in that hotel, and I started reading it and I could not stop. It was interesting at that time. Start reading a bit of news, not too much, but a little bit of it. Start watching the right content online. Reading books. Psychology, when you can start, you may start. Start reading a lot of fiction also, because I don't want you to get bored. I want you to start developing a lot of interest and liking for reading. So start reading fiction rigorously. It'll improve your English, your reading speed, your grammar. Be very attentive. Next is how to start 11th grade. Is it important to have tuition or coaching? Absolutely. I think the tuitions part is very personal. It depends on what kind of faculty you have, what kind of teachers you have in school, with all due respect to everybody. And if you're having trouble understanding in school, then you of course seek additional help. Particularly make sure that your maths accounts base extremely strong. Just make sure of that. I am done with the questions from my nephew. Now I have a few questions from the students who had sent a few questions earlier. So whether to choose stream based on elderly's advice or on your own interest. So one is, how much information do you have based on your own interest? When you're in class 11 and 12, do you know everything? Of course not. Do you think you know everything? Definitely yes. We've all been there during that age, so understand that. So one is, do your homework. There's a lot of content available on YouTube, but online, different sources. But make sure that when you're checking content or when you're consuming information, it's coming from the right sources. Because we also understand Wikipedia is a very disastrous kind of a source of information. Read about it, how biased and how pathetic Wikipedia is, for example, for those who are hearing this for the first time. So when you're taking advices, take from people who have accomplished something and not those who are acting and doing all sorts of nonsense on Instagram and all. So understand the credibility, the education and experience of the people that you're taking advices from. And accordingly, you consume content. You understand. If you're sure, if you've researched enough, then go ahead with what you're deciding. Argue with the elders. Discuss with the elders, I would say, not argue. And prove your point that the decision you're planning to take or the course that you want to take or the channel or the path you want to take is correct. Be a good debater. Convince them if you have that much amount of information and understanding. And then go ahead with what you have decided and what you want to do. But seek proper advice from the proper sources. Very important. And then you take a call and move ahead. And also try to understand the perspective of the elders. Also understand whichever elder is advising you, what is their credibility in terms of education, experience, what have they done in their life, and accordingly what they're advising. Also whether they have the best of your intentions in their heart. For example, like I do this career convention, and since I have done CA, CS, CFA, myself, I know the content, I know the rigor that is needed, the syllabus and everything. Also by teaching in these B schools, I understand what is being taught at B schools and how they've been taught. I've done lectures at more than 130-40 colleges, including a couple of dozen IIMs and IITs. Because I'm into corporate training, I understand the skill set that the employees lack. Because I've been into recruitment for my students and we have a placement committee, so I understand what is the job market and how the recruitment takes place. Also because we consult with companies, we understand the kind of work that is done. And since I've been teaching thousands of students globally, so I understand the basic, how professional exams are done and students within the age bracket of 18 to 50, 55 or so. Say for example, there's this Instagrammer and she was talking about take NISM exams and it'll propel you for a wonderful career. It's a one-day exam, 120-minute or 180 minutes or so. I've taken a few papers. I don't think I even put that in my resume. It is more from trading perspective and for compliance perspective. And it does not propel you into a great finance career as she had claimed. So there are false claims put by people who have absolutely no iota of finance. I've seen some ridiculous idiots wearing wigs and doing finance posts. I have apparently corrected in certain college lectures and all. Please understand the credibility of the person that you're listening from. I would rather listen to Warren Buffett than some, that मुझसे शादी करोगे movie में there was a दुग्गल जी. आज दुग्गल जी बहरे बने, आज दुग्गल जी कुछ बने. So Instagram वाला लोग का भी maximum लोग का वैसा ही है. I know it's sounding a little hypocrite being on my Instagram, but as I told you, I'm not an influencer and I don't take money to promote anything. I'm not an Alia Bhatt who'll have perk and then say sugar is bad. So I'm not those hypocrites over here. Next question I have is, what career options do you choose after? Okay, so commerce students after class 10, actually it's a bit early, but if you're very curious, you can check the career convention playlist on YouTube. So what is there in CA, CS, CFA, FRM, MBA, Masters, PhD, Law, etc. Everything has been covered in that. BCom versus BBA versus Economics Honors, everything is over there. So you can check that in more detail if you want to talk about after class 12. How do you upskill yourself during 2 months after board exam? So with respect to upskilling for class 11 and 12 students, the most important thing is, one, your writing and reading. So you start reading because I think most people lack the habit of reading, which is the most important habit. You'll realize, just Google up 10 things successful people do. Go through any of the 5, 10, 20 articles you feel like on Google and you'll find reading is going to be on each of those. So make sure you do that. Second is you work a little bit on Excel and PPT and start grooming yourself and getting out of your inhibitions. You might be an introvert, but public speaking and introvert are two separate things. You might be an introvert, don't discuss your feelings, your personal life, etc. But you should be able to communicate with regards to your subject matter. Be involved in college activities, commerce clubs, etc. It's very important. It will be helping you when you get into college because you are going to be participating in such events during college. So make an effort to do that. With regards to upskilling, so reading, learning Excel, PPT, start participating in college events. So these are the 3 basic things that you need to do. And apart from upskilling, as I told you, maths, accounts, keep it strong, then economics, keep it very strong, and English improve karo. It's going to be very important. For those who have not been comfortable in conversational English, please start working on yourself. Watch interviews, watch English shows, improve on your English. You don't understand a word, please Google it up. There's absolutely no shame. Even I Google up right now if I don't understand or if I don't know a word, or if I'm confused about the spelling of some word or something, since we use so much of autocorrect and everything. So it's fine. It's absolutely fine. See, you are going to be having a lot of anxiety with regards to career decisions and choosing college and everything. Your anxiety levels are going to be a little higher after class 12 because that's when you start making decisions. So right now, you just focus on the things I've told you for 11 and 12. You start researching, reading about the different things and options you have after class 12. For example, if you're planning to take up law, you'll have to start studying for CLAT examinations, Common Law Admission Test in India. That you'll have to do during class 11 and 12. If you're planning to take up an integrated MBA kind of a program where you are looking at an IIM Indore or something like that, where you want to do an integrated graduation and postgrad course, that's up to you. That's another discussion altogether. These are the kind of decisions that you'll have to take during class 11 and 12 as well. So you start working on those. But most of the decisions you'll have to take is after class 12. You might have to start preparing for college exams. So you have to evaluate which college you want to go to and accordingly what will be the cutoff criteria and the exam details and everything. So you got to do work on that part. Next is, how do you develop a strong profile for college admission? So for college admission, again, first of all, you figure out which colleges are you evaluating and looking for. That is one. Second, you attend the lecture on BBA versus BCom versus BMS versus Economics Honors, etc. That you need to understand because most important is going to be the college that you choose, the city, the college. Second will be the course actually in terms of BCom, BBA, BMS because the syllabus is relatively similar, or even BAF. Economics Honors is going to be a different decision altogether, whether you want to take up Economics Honors or whether you want to take up graduation. I've seen students taking up BCA, etc. during their college and studying commerce alongside. So there is absolutely no problem with that. Of course, you'll have to work a little harder. I've seen people, they want to combine finance and tech and finance and computers or something. So I've seen people, less number of people, of course, but people working towards those kind of combinations as well. Depending on the college that you're planning to, you have to understand their cutoffs, dates, their deadlines, their cutoff scores, or if they have any admission tests. For example, you have the common admission tests, CUETs, etc. for Delhi admissions and good. You have to evaluate that. If you have a very good college in your city, it's better to stay in your city and attend college. You also have to understand what the college is going to be offering. Is it just the ranking of college that you're going for? Do you want to go to the college for the exposure and grooming? Do you want to go to the college for placement? So there are certain colleges where students take admission because they want to get a placement immediately after graduation. Do you want to go to a college where you can pursue professional courses alongside with the college timing? For example, Kolkata had taken up Xavier's college admission because it was still 9:50 a.m. in the morning. And because of that, I had the whole day for my classes and pursuing CA, etc. So you take a decision about college regarding considering a lot of factors. I was fair above the cutoff level for SRCC, so that was not a problem for me. But then shifting city, given that I had a college in my city, shifting city was not making sense. Also, since I wanted to get placements after CA, so I did not want to get placement from college. So therefore, the placements obviously are better in Delhi as compared to Kolkata. So that was also a criteria why I did not choose SRCC and pursue that. And third, being in my city, since I had a college, if you are in a tier 2, tier 3 city where there is no college available, you'll have to move out. There's no choice about it. But since I had a good college in my city, I did not want to, because it obviously gives me a little advantage in terms of managing my time, because I did not have to do anything at home. In fact, I remember my mother waking up and making tiffin for the whole day before 6 o'clock, before I left for college, and giving it to me since I had classes after college throughout the day. So these advantages, of course, do matter in the long term. And I wanted to complete and study as much as possible during college, with college as fast as possible, so that I can start working as soon as possible, because I wanted to expedite my career and I wanted to start earning as soon as possible. So you consider all sorts of factors in order to take a decision about your college. Another thing that you do for building up your college admission profile is, as I told you, participate in events in school. And if you do not have a club or an e-commerce society, finance club, startup club, etc., then please create one. In fact, be a founder, take leadership roles. And it's very easy to build it, and just DM me. Maybe I'll try to have my team assist you and help you with this. Apart from that, of course, you need to get very good scores. And if a college requires admission exam, then in that case, you have to appear for that exam. Most likely, you'll have to work on your English and maths. It has to be very good. Next, I have a question is how to identify strengths and weaknesses for choosing the right group of subjects. As I told you, you'll have a best 4, best 5. So you can leave the subject that you do not like or that you're not good at, but make sure that English, maths, accounts are good and they are there as a part of your subject in your class 11 and 12. Very simple. Rest, whatever combination. And next priority would be economics. Next priority would be having computers. Then you have whatever subject you feel like. But priority wise, English, maths, accounts you have to have. Next, economics. Next, computers. And next, whatever you want to choose. Theory subjects, entrepreneurship, business, commerce, management, whatever it is all doable. Even if you don't have it, you can manage it afterwards. So you don't have to worry. Very quickly, I have just 2 more questions and I'll start taking up your questions. It's your opinion on 4 years graduation BCom. Okay, I'm yet to get into more details about the 4-year graduation of BCom, but I would suggest you to complete the 4 years of graduation as per the new education policy. I would sincerely recommend students to complete 4 years of graduation, because you do not know where and how it is going to be coming in handy later. And I don't think it's going to be requiring that much amount of effort after your 3rd year of a college. So my sincere recommendation to you would be to complete your 4 years of graduation, until and unless there is an absolutely major opportunity cost that, if you give up your 4th year, then you'd be able to do X, Y, Z, etc. Even then, since we'll have a transferable credit system, etc., do it in a college where the attendance and all is very easy to manage, etc. If you have to do so in the worst case scenario. But my recommendation sincerely would be to complete your entire college. I'll give you an instance. So I was talking to somebody recently. He had taken up some expensive computer course 20-25 years back while he was in college. And at that point of time, it did not come in handy. But today he heads one of the largest fund houses in the country. And it comes in handy while he's managing cyber risks, etc. So you never know when, whatever you've studied, whatever you've learned, whatever you've gained, it's always going to come in use. For example, Charlie Munger, one of the greatest investors, he's been the partner with Warren Buffett, sir. So he has something called the mental models, where you study different things in physics and different subjects and all. And the concepts and those mental models really helps you to think and understand and grasp concepts. So you never know what is going to come in handy and where it is going to be useful. So it's very important that you should complete your 4 years of graduation. And knowledge never goes waste, trust me. In fact, I'll give you another instance from my life. So in class 7, I remember doing a course at AppTech, and it was a 6 months course in computers and MS Office and all that. So I wanted to improve my Office and Excel, PPT and all of that. And during school, wanted to use my time, and my parents had always been encouraging in terms of studying more and doing more. No, not even class 6, it was class 4 and 5. Class 4 or 5, I had done this AppTech course. During CS inter or final, I was really not having time because CA was going on, CS was there, college exams were there. I had taken CAT also in my 3rd year. I got admission in one of the top 8 colleges in the country, but I did not take the admission because I did not want to go for various reasons. And I remember that computer course which I did in class 4 or 5 gave me exemption from the computer training during CS final. Imagine what comes useful when. I think I have report cards from class 1 till 12. I have all the report cards, all the certificates, smallest and biggest, everything I have kept very safely with me.